last night, before I went to bed, I realised that I hadn't submitted my appeal for the video that was taken down for medical misinformation yesterday. So I did it. The comment that I left for the appeal was that I just left a link to the article that I shown yesterday as evidence that this isn't medical misinformation. Submitted that, brushed my teeth, and when I came back, got an email saying, we have reviewed your video and we have decided it still violates the medical misinformation policy. So, it seems to me, I don't know what time I submitted the appeal, but I know that I got the email at 28 past 10. So, because of how quickly they replied, it's obvious that they didn't look at the article and they didn't look at my video. Because the video was on for 10 minutes and I was gone for 4 minutes max. So even if they put the video on double speed, they still wouldn't have finished it. And unless they have some really fast readers, they didn't look at the article. I bet they didn't even look at my comment. They just went, oh, yeah, it's that guy again. Well, we don't like him, so gone. Luckily, it was a video from a weekend and not a school day. Speaking of, this is Whiplash 1. The date is Thursday the 14th. Sorry. Thursday the 15th of September 2022. Now, this happens at the end of the day, but I want to go through the events in chronological order. So, get to the other school, open up my iPad, and I find out that I'm able to change my wallpaper, because you're not allowed to change your wallpaper. They've gotten rid of the setting on the iPad, but sometimes it screws up and allows you to change it. And I decided that because my background is so low quality, like it's very pixelated, I'm going to change it. So it went from The Witcher to Game of Thrones. And just for the entirety of an image, we watched a movie called Three Colors Blue. We didn't finish it because we had to leave. But we might finish it on Tuesday, so I shouldn't have said the name of it. The taxi was on time for the time he was told to get there at. He was told 1:15, despite the fact that it's supposed to be 12 sharp. So I'm not going to blame him for that, but he was wearing a seatbelt incorrectly. He had it under his arm. I didn't know if it's alright to do it that way or if it's illegal or anything like that. I asked my mum, she says that the reason why you have it over your arm is in case you're in an accident or anything like that. Your arm is going to get hit. Whereas if we're under your arm, it would probably crack your rib cage. Break the ribs. Anyway. In study, I sat next to Jack, and Jack pointed out that they put new rules on the whiteboard in study. And the rules are terrible. It's like, year 14's at the front. No leaving until the teacher says so. No, not even packing up until the teacher says so. Despite the fact that I have the strictest teacher in the school who will shout at me if I'm not there early. A bunch of other BS rules that I forget about because it's just so much rubbish. And it was in that class that I realised, wait, I've seen somewhere in the planner that it said that we will respect your privacy. So I looked at my planner, and yeah, it does say that in one of the pages where it shows the school's focused rights. It says Article 16. I'm paraphrasing, but you have the right to privacy unless the law says you don't. And like the police did not say to the school, activate the classroom thing so that whatever. We're not having like we wouldn't contain illegal information on the school iPads. If we were to have illegal information somewhere, it would be on our our personal tablets, not our school tablets. So they're not doing that because the law said so. They're doing that because they're hypocrites. Anyway, in English, I was there on time, thank God. But teacher said in the loudest voice I have ever heard him use in 6 years that he looked at the attendance register and he thinks that someone has decided not to come in today just so that they don't have to be with him. And I thought that because this is a Thursday, that he was talking about me. Because I thought that I was still marked as absent because I go to the other school and maybe they haven't fixed that yet. So I quickly went out of class and went to my mentor and said, "Can you check my register?" Because I explained to her, it says 100%. So that's fine. Oh, and I forgot to mention in study I met my new classroom assistant that I was told that I would be having on the first day, but I didn't meet her until today. I don't even know if it's her because she's the second person this week to say, "Oh, I'm your new assistant, Dylan." Um, I I know the name of who the assistant is supposed to be. This person did not give her name. I'm just going to assume that it is the same person. So she'll be with me a little bit. Like, nothing on Wednesday, and as far as I know, nothing on Friday. But she's with me in English. She'll be with me in media on Monday and a couple of study periods. For some reason. Which I'll need to see how she is. Like, there was nothing today that she could help with, despite how terrible today was. So, once I realised that he wasn't talking about me, I went back to class and it was fine. Although, he didn't look at the time. So he accidentally kept us behind. And even when the bell went, he just went, "Whoa, I have homework to give you." We wrote down the homework. Then went to leave. A mate came at me. I was like, I asked someone to hold the bus behind because I knew I'd be late because I'm going to assume that he has a class in, say, drama. But I also had HE today, so we had to go from, one end of the school to the other. Then all the way back up to get the bus. And the person who takes the bus is like the teacher. I was like, "Hey, why are you late?" And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Why?" This fact she never asked me. So I explained to her that teacher kept us behind because he wasn't looking at the time. She said, "Well, don't do it again," or something like that. It wasn't my fault. Don't. She actually said, "Well, she said the other guy, she didn't say to me, but I'm going to assume that she was also implying it towards me. Uh, well, don't be late again, or else you better phone your mum to pick you up." Like, do not threaten me. Plus, what if no one can come pick me up and I have no choice but to get the bus, or else I have to stay in the school for hours because my mum works till like 5. Like, what then? Because that will be your fault, and I'm gonna guess that you don't care. Like, you're an evil person. So, I remember Incident 1 from last year happening on the 27th of September or 28th of September. That date was wrong. I was thinking of Incident 1 from year 2. Well, would it be Incident 1 if I was making the videos back then? But Incident 1 last year happened on the 13th of October. So, we were in for over a month, like a month, say a month and a half, by the time the first incident happened. And this is like the second or third full week that we've been in it, and we've already had a whiplash, which, for those who don't know, whiplashes and incidents are the same things, just incidents are with the students and whiplashes are with the teachers. So, we are now at war. This is the despair war. I knew this would happen. So, I mean, I always try to make sure the incidents. I don't try and avoid the incidents because that's bad, but I try to prevent them from happening. And I can't guarantee that that's how it's gonna go. But you can bet your ass that there's gonna be an extreme amount more of whiplashes because that's just how this is gonna work. As I keep on pointing out, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And it has. I've been right every single time I've said it's gonna get worse. I might as well do this now. This is Twitter as of 26 past 4 p.m. Putin is trending because people don't like him because he invaded Ukraine. I don't know if this is a Photoshop or it's just angling. Oh, Trump was actually on his knees there. I thought he was just walking by and it was like Putin was on a step or something. I don't know. Right, so I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the way that Trump was trying to handle Putin was to be his friend and basically just be like, Vladimir, my friend, please don't invade Ukraine because like there's a black guy who likes to befriend members of the KKK, and then because they realize, oh, this guy is actually nice. What if other people are nice and then they believe in the KKK? That's essentially what Trump was trying to do with Putin, as far as I know. But that just tells me that you are just a bunch of violent. Uh, I can't think of an insult. It's violent people. Don't know why I'm saying violent. It's so weird. Person on GB News saying should not pay any reparations for slavery. We pumped millions into the Commonwealth for the years, but that is now conveniently forgotten. Also, we, the present population of GB, had nothing to do with it. You're not funny. Here's Olivia. 9-year-old girl will be later arrested after being shot needlessly in Liverpool. Well, you don't need to say needlessly. She's 9. Like, of course, it was needless. That's who everyone should be mourning. That's who your tears should be for. Not a 96-year-old who lived her whole life, and a very privileged one of that. Rip Olivia Fly High Angel. Right? It's a shame. Right? She died younger than I currently am. Like, it's just, that's worse than my entire day has been. But you shouldn't say that, oh, more than this person instead of the Queen. Like, we can do both. I'm not gonna look at this, but I've heard that Glass Onion is crap. I'm gonna watch it anyway though because Knives Out was a great movie. Also, like when it comes to Knives Out, before I even seen the film, I did watch a video that was talking about like Ryan Johnson, who directed Knives Out, Glass Onion, and also The Last Jedi. Like he learned from his mistakes of The Last Jedi, uh, and it was because of that's what made Knives Out such a great movie, because it was like the revelation of information is key to a murder mystery like that. And while Last Jedi obviously isn't a murder mystery or anything of the sort, there was problems with revelation of information. Um, so I guess what the problem with Glass Onion is that you can't really do that again. Otherwise, it would just be exactly the same. I don't know. I'll just have to watch the movie when it comes out. I've already thought my opinion. Why is Winnie the Pooh trending? Now, Putin and Winnie the Pooh are meeting, and people are going to be like, "No, Winnie, don't meet with Putin. Putin's a bad man." Winnie has done far worse than Putin. Like Putin is a child compared to Winnie the Pooh. You know what? It I shouldn't be avoiding his name like that. I'm just gonna say it. Xi Jinping. Ping. I don't want to be like when leftists try and avoid using Trump's name. And I'll be like, he's like Voldemort. If you say his name, he gets more power. I don't want to be like that. I just kept on saying Winnie the Pooh because it really annoys him. Like murderously so. Denmark just barred additional corona jabs for most people under 50. Yes, you read that right. So they're actually banning the vaccine now in Denmark. And like article right here. Don't take me down for medical misinformation. Like, I've just someone has said Denmark's banned it. I've repeated that. I've done nothing wrong. Screw it, I'll watch a 2-minute video.
Immunology. Any of the guidelines for vaccines? Do any of the guidelines for vaccines from the government include previous infection?
Oh God, no! Why are you talking the Vichy about monkeypox? We know what we all need to know about monkeypox, right? It's physical contact. It's like as far as I know, it's harder to spread than corona because you actually need to touch the person to give it to them. But then the thought maybe actually that's not how it works. Maybe it's an STD. But then they find it in a lot of children and dogs. So hopefully it isn't an STD. So I'm probably gonna get taken down for medical misinformation for that. So I'm just gonna say now, physical contact, not an STD, until they outright say we've confirmed that it's an STD. If that happens,
as something to base your decision making on with vaccines. Do any of the guidelines involve previous infection? That's why you're ignoring previous infection, because it doesn't involve any of the guidelines. And furthermore, we've been asking you, and you refuse to answer whether anybody on the vaccine.
Everyone's known this is Senator Rand Paul. He's had other like trials with Fauci, and he goes, huh? Like he goes hard after Fauci. Like top tier work. Thank you so much, Rand Paul.
vaccine committees gets royalties from the pharmaceutical companies. I asked you last time, and what was your response? We don't have to tell you.
Right.
We've demanded them through Freedom of Information Act, and what have you said? We're not going to tell you. But I tell you this, when we get in charge, we're going to change the rules, and you will have to divulge where you get your royalties from what companies, and if anybody in the committee has a conflict of interest, we're going to learn about it. I promise you that.
Mr. Chair, can I respond to that, please?
May.
Okay, there are two aspects for what you said. You keep saying you approve, you do this, you do that. The committees that give the approval are FDA through their advisory committee. The committees that recommend are CDC through their advisory committee. And
we're not talking about recommendations, we're talking about mandations. It literally said right there in the C-SPAN, like, who is this person box, that you are the director of, what was it, NERD, whatever. The reason why Paul was saying that you did it is because we have evidence from the Freedom of Information Act that it was you who did everything. Like, you were the one that initially said, before Corona came to America, that only the people who have Corona should be wearing masks. Then you switched it around and said that not only should everyone be wearing masks, they should actually stay at home. Like, you were behind everything. Don't try behind your company, the CDC, WHO, anything like that.
you keep saying, I'm the one that's approving a vaccine based on certain data. So
also, if it wasn't you, then why was people like James Corden, Ariana Grande, etc. literally making musicals praising you? Like, I know that's not much of a refutation, but like, if it wasn't you, why were they doing that? Also, the only reason why he's doing this is because he knows he's lost.
I don't really understand, with all due respect, Senator.
You're the one that said you would not reveal what.
Also, I just remembered, you killed dogs. Like, you butcher dogs.
Companies gave you royalties, or what company gave the other scientists royalties?
Gotta move
That's
on.
what you told the committee.
Senator Paul,
Sir,
you gotta move on.
Could I please answer that?
Briefly.
Whoever the hell that was telling Paul to move on, he did. Before you told him to move on. Keep your trap shut.
Yes.
Keep asking committees. They're not my committees. They're the VRPAC committee for the FDA and the ACIP for the CDC. So I don't have any idea what goes on.
And they won't reveal, as well as you won't reveal.
You were an arm's length of Trump and Biden, telling them what to do. Don't try and scapegoat anyone else.
The idea that a government official like yourself would claim to represent science